If you work with Donald Trump, are friends with Donald Trump, or just generally associate with Donald Trump, you are bound to be screwed over by him. It is a lesson everyone close to Trump has learned, and no one has learned it in a harder way than Elon Musk. Now, of course, after their civil war, the explosion of their relationship, Donald Trump went after Elon Musk's businesses, but he is also now going after him personally, because after the release of the Ghislaine Maxwell tapes with Todd Blanche went public, new information about Elon's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein is blowing up everything he has ever said, as Donald Trump clearly has his sights set on his new nemesis and old pal. We are going to get into it all and what it means for Donald Trump's Epstein scandal. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into this Elon Ghislaine bombshell, I want to start with the context, and that comes from Chris Hayes right here.
Between Donald Trump's former personal defense attorney, the guy that, tried to get him cleared of criminal charges, who is now the #2 at DOJ, that guy, Todd Blanche, and the convicted sex offender, Ghislaine Maxwell. She, of course, notoriously, famously, the longtime confidant and enabler, co-conspirator of the late child sex trafficker, Jeffrey Epstein. Blanche announced that the 6 hours of recordings and 329 pages of transcripts were being released today, quote, in the interest of transparency, although it's not clear that that's all of their conversation. More on that later. Missing from the transparency, of course, is the obvious question: why on earth would the Deputy Attorney General take a private meeting with a convicted child sex trafficker who his boss, Donald Trump, has ties to, and then, as soon as she tells him what she told him, gets upgraded to a lower security federal prison? Now, that question remains unanswered. What we do know from the trove of materials they released is that much of the interview with Maxwell seems to be an attempt to support the narrative that, surprise, surprise, the Department of Justice and Donald Trump have been pushing. Nothing to see here.
Never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way.
If there's one word that comes to mind with Donald Trump, of course, it's gentleman. He was a gentleman in all respects. But here's the thing. Maxwell did not stop there. She went on to tell the Deputy Attorney General of the United States that she, the lady who was charged with conspiring with Epstein to abuse minors, who's convicted of that and doing time for it, that she, get this, ready for this? That she never saw Jeffrey Epstein engage in anything that was non-consensual.
This is flat out, blatant witness tampering. That is what went down. Ghislaine Maxwell is looking for a pardon. She is a known liar. She has perjured herself before, and there is no reason why she would want to give information to the government unless it was for the express purpose of helping herself. And of course, there were aspects of these tapes released, but there were Epstein tapes released that were edited. We found that in metadata. So how do we know that before this interview, before this conversation, Ghislaine Maxwell wasn't told or instructed exactly what to say? We don't. All we know is she's trying to help Trump. And something that has been on Trump's mind is going after Elon. We saw that right here.
Are you going to deport Elon Musk?
I don't know. I think we'll have to take a look. We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible? He gets a lot of subsidies, Peter.
So not only did Donald Trump say he would consider deporting Elon Musk a while back, he also alluded to the fact that Doge might be going after his businesses. And as Elon Musk is now the most unpopular figure in America, in our politics today, what worse way, what better way really to make his image worse than associating him with Epstein? Something that Donald Trump has realized rightfully wrecks the public perception of you. Well, that is exactly what happened and came out of this interview, and it's got Elon scrambling. Ghislaine Maxwell flips the script on Elon Musk. Maxwell revealed that she first met the world's richest man at a multi-day bash, despite the claims that he didn't know Epstein's accomplice. Elon Musk has landed in the hot seat after Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime accomplice, contradicted his claims that he doesn't know the disgraced socialite and convicted offender. Maxwell revealed that she first met the world's richest man at a multi-day birthday bash for Google co-founder Sergey Brin, according to a Bombshell taped interview conducted by Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche in July. I met him in, I don't remember the year, but it's going to be in the 2010s, 2011, something like that, I think, if my memory serves, Maxwell, 63, said, according to the long-awaited transcripts released by the Department of Justice on Friday. In her testimony, Maxwell claimed Musk was among a group of 30 to 50 people who spent 3 or 4 days on a Caribbean island celebrating Brin's birthday. Mr. Musk was present for that, said Maxwell, who was sentenced in 2022 to 20 years in jail for trafficking minors. Maxwell told Blanche she later saw Musk at an Oscars event, seemingly referring to a Vanity Fair Oscars party on March 2, 2014, where she and Musk were photographed together. Maxwell added that she believed Elon's brother, Kimball Musk, also had a relationship with Epstein. He knew Mr. Musk's brother well, she said, but like I said, my memory is not as good as I would like it to be. Kimball was reportedly set up with a girlfriend by Epstein many years ago, Business Insider reported in 2020. Musk has repeatedly distanced himself from Maxwell, writing on X in 2020, "Don't know Ghislaine at all. She photobombed me once at a Vanity Fair party several years ago. Real question is why Vanity Fair invited her in the first place." Jeffrey Epstein was reportedly advising Brin in 2007 on setting up a tax-saving trust for his children, according to a 2023 report from the Wall Street Journal. Musk himself has a complicated history with a fellow tech titan. In 2022, Musk denied having an affair with Brin's then-wife, Nicole Shanahan, who would later become RFK Jr.'s running mate in the 2024 presidential campaign. Musk, of course, later deleted posts saying that he had gone too far, that he had written about Trump's relationship with Epstein. When asked about Musk recently, Trump told reporters that he's a good person who had a really bad moment. So the Elon Musk connection to Epstein is much deeper than we were told before, and certainly much deeper than Elon Musk wants you to know. Now, why is this getting brought up? Of course, it's because Donald Trump, in every way possible, wants something else to talk about. Now, even if that is Elon, his former buddy's relationship to Epstein, and the conversation is still around Epstein, Donald Trump wants us talking about that. But it also kind of blows up what Elon has said about Trump in the past. What could be his involvement in the Epstein files to such an extent that he knows Trump is in them? We remember that Pam Bondi and Kash Patel literally sat Trump down in the Oval Office to tell him that he was in the Epstein files. Did they do the same to Elon? Is that what was communicated? Is that why Elon knows what is in the contents of the Epstein files? Was he given that same sort of meeting? We don't know. I don't want to get too conspiratorial, but really all it makes you think is release the files. Tell us what we need to know. Show the full information. But of course, Donald Trump is not going to do that. He's going to continue to suppress anyone who speaks out against him, and Bernie Sanders called that out right here.
But what we have seen since Trump was elected is something unprecedented in American history. And that is, you have a president who is usurping powers from the Congress. He is, in too many instances, ignoring decisions of courts. He is going after the media with lawsuits and in other ways like we have never seen before, because this president, this great big bully, is afraid of people criticizing him. So, Mr. President, if you are afraid of criticism, get the hell out of politics. He is going after law firms because they had clients who opposed him. He is going after universities because they teach courses that he doesn't like. And right now, all across this country, including Iowa, We have ICE agents, sometimes with masks around their faces, throwing people into vans and taking them illegally, unconstitutionally to detention centers. And now you have military transportation tanks, etc., in our nation's capital. And understand what all of this is about. We can argue about a sane immigration policy. Honest people have different points of view. We can argue how you effectively deal with crime problems which are too high in many parts of the country. But this is not about immigration policy. This is not about dealing with crime. This is about a president who is showing the American people that he is prepared to utilize power and move against people who dissent and disagree with him. That's what this is about.
Of course, Donald Trump can't take criticism. Of course, Donald Trump is terrified of us talking about the Epstein files, which is exactly why we need to talk about the Epstein files, why we need fighters like Bernie and AOC and Gavin Newsom in our party. And one of those fighters, a candidate for Senate in Michigan, is someone that maybe you haven't heard from a lot lately, but he was just at a rally recently with Bernie, his rally with Bernie. It's Dr. Abdul Al-Sayed, and I hope you like the fight that he's bringing to this campaign.
The whole idea of Doge was gut and cut so that we can replace with some private provider on the back end. That's always the game. Someone always gets paid, right? And I want us to see that because part and parcel of what we all have to become resistant to is the games they play when they start saying the words waste, fraud, and abuse. Because their whole argument is anything that government touches is wasteful, fraudulent, or abusive, but what they want to do is bring in a corporation that offers the same service, but worse, right, for more money. But then they say, well, look, this is managed because it's managed on a market. Except for, right, you're the one provider that does this. You won a contract by lobbying government. So there's literally nothing efficient about this process, right? And you see it over and over and over and over again.
Now, I don't know how many of y'all live in Michigan, but if you do, I would love for you to comment below and let me know that you are going to check out Dr. Abdul Al-Sayed. This is a real fighter. This is a real progressive. This is someone who is not taking corporate money, who's not going to bow down to AIPAC. No, he is actually fighting with real moral clarity. He is leading in the way that we want Democrats to lead, with actual conviction. And that is the type of person that we need in the Senate. So please let me know that you checked out his campaign. I'll really appreciate it. We're going to have him back on the show again. We did a couple months back, but we're going to have him again because he is an incredible candidate. I hope you check out his campaign. Even if you don't live in Michigan, maybe just go donate because he is the progressive fighter that we need right now. And we're going to keep talking about progressive fighters like Abdul Al-Sayed on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.